Colten, welcome to Camp Happily, brother.
What's happening, man?
Thank you for joining us by this very real and warm, wonderful fire we have going.
It's cold in here, so I'm glad we got a fire.
Yeah, it is very cold in here, right? I'm definitely not sweating a lot here at Inbound. Dude, talk to me about how your experience has been thus far. This is not your first Inbound, or
This is my second Inbound.
This is your second Inbound. Okay, cool. Talk to me. Was last year the first one?
Last year was the first one.
Sweet, awesome. We're at what, midday, day one, technically? I'm assuming you went to Partner Day yesterday?
I went to Partner Day, yeah.
Awesome. Give me your thoughts on Partner Day.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on day one. How's it been shaking out?
Yeah, I think Partner Day was awesome for sure. I think compared to last year.
Yeah.
I think last year started at like noon or something like that.
Yeah,
And there's a few keynote speakers.
And maybe shared some news that not everyone was super stoked about, right? Like changes that a little bit different this year.
Little changes to the partner program, which they also came out with some new changes with the partner program, but it looks good with the upsells. Looking into 2025. So, I mean, overall, man, like, it's always great just meeting everybody in person.
Yeah, dude.
We live in this world where we're all in this digital world. Like me meeting you. We might have met last year.
Confirming you are not an AI, just idea.
Not
you're
yet.
Not a bot.
Not yet.
Totally.
But,
it is wonderful, man. We're all here at a HubSpot summer camp, quite literally, right? So some other stuff that came out too. There were some very interesting updates to like apps and app objects, a lot of those things. That kind of segues me into like what I wanted to talk to you about today, right?
Let's talk about it.
We've been hanging out for a long time on the Happily partnership side of things, right? You guys kind of, sparked our interest pretty quickly because it very much felt that you guys were kind of like eager to work with different app partners and like kind of run down the whole sort of like partnership, line of thinking, right? And we've been getting together. We've been talking about things like Event Happily. I'm sure now that Quote Happily is coming out, you're gonna have plenty of customers for that. But I know you've been like partnering with other like app partners out there in the ecosystem. You saw Yamini talk about how important it was to see like app partners and solutions partners like working together, right? But like, You've been seeing this forest through the trees for a while now. Talk to me about like why you were so interested in like partnering with us over here at Happily, and kind of like what's your calculus of saying like, I'm a solutions partner, there's value in me going out and working with app partners. Why? Where do you see the where do you see the reasoning behind it, I guess?
I guess I'd kind of tie it into what Yamini spoke about a bit. I think Andy talked about it a bit as well. Like HubSpot's going up market, and like with that, with working with bigger companies, mid-market, enterprise level companies, comes more customization.
More complex stuff.
More complex stuff. So like app partners like Happily, like it's perfect. Like you guys are focusing on specific use cases where HubSpot really isn't touching on it so well. So I mean to kind
of build on that too, like, you start thinking about working with these more upmarket customers, right? Better chance that you're going to run into things like complex quoting needs, or hey, we run 100%. These big events. But even like app, not specific to the app or anything. I think the bigger thing there is there's more of a likelihood that you run into a situation where you need to build something custom. Right. And I think the really, really neat part about the app ecosystem and what app partners can do to really help solutions partners is like there's a lot of opportunities for us to build the productized versions of what those common things that usually end up being custom builds or custom integrations end up being, right? So solution partners have these things at their disposal, pre-built, that they don't have to hire a developer to create something totally unscalable and something custom, right? You guys can say, hey, there's all these apps that like get us to a place where we can deploy a solution to you faster, right? And like plug in all this stuff to not make it super difficult for us to kind of give the solution to you that like we want to do, right? We want to be able to be more strategic and like focus on the lower code stuff that we can just set up in HubSpot and the RevOps strategy and like all that kind of stuff, and not be bogged down or have to like overinflate our prices because we got to either like use our own developer resources or go hire a developer to create this like custom integration or custom functionality that doesn't exist, right? When there's an app partner out there that does it, that can like get us to, cool, let's just provide value with that thing now that's already done
100%.
and not have to focus on like working on it. So I don't know what you're taking.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, I think whether you're a partner like on the app side or the service side, like forming these relationships between each other where at the end of the day, we're solving for the customer, the end user of HubSpot, and providing the best experience, the most value that they can get out of HubSpot, and ultimately bringing in more value, revenue to their business, and at the end of the day, like trying to make them look great on deciding to move forward with us and you know, our collaboration, and it's great.
It's a win-win for both, and there's also this like very interesting symbiotic relationship, I think, whereas like I think I speak for like a lot of app partners out there where it's like we don't want to do any services. You guys, however, your solutions partners, you want to do services.
Bring us the services,
right? And I think it's like a very natural fit for like app developers like us to be like, hey, come partner with us, use our apps. Sure, you'll get like a commission for doing that, but like what you really want to do is you want to unlock new services opportunities, right? And like apps from app partners can help solution providers do that, right? And so like, you know, as you and me continue to work together and like Marcus is in the mix and we're all, you know, doing the partnership thing here, like the big thing that we want to make sure that we're doing is saying like, hey, this partnership is not going to be valuable for you at all if like we're not providing like, you know, new ways that you can sell services on top of what we're building, and you're selling services because of our apps.
100%.
And I would encourage other app partners out there to start thinking about that too as well, right? Most app partners, like commission's cool. Like a referral commission is like whatever. But you got to remember, like you're not going to do a whole lot of work and put your like reputation out there just to get a referral commission. Like you're going to care a lot more about actually delivering a service on top of something, because that's how you guys are making your money.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know if there's anything else you would kind of encourage like other app developers out there to kind of do to work with solutions partners better, or reach solutions partners better, or like be better partners. Like, I don't know what you've seen with the other people you've been working with.
Yeah, it's a good question. I spoke recently to somebody who was considering becoming an app partner, and they asked me like how to get into the ecosystem and all that. Well, for one, I think the ecosystem is pretty small. Like it's close niche family, you know, the HubSpot ecosystem. Yeah,
we're a tight group. Even when it comes to people just building apps on HubSpot, there's like, you know, we're counting those on like two hands at this point, right? There's a lot of solutions partners though, right? And I think that's an interesting thing too, where it's like, oh, you know, if you're looking for a way as like a new app developer to like get into the ecosystem, your network of partners is a great way to do it, because it's like, hey, you get one partner that really loves this app, they start recommending it to their customers, they start telling other solutions partners about it, and kind of builds that way. You know, this whole like partner-led ecosystem like growth model for like apps that run on HubSpot, like
100%.
Going the solution partner route makes a ton of sense.
I think whether you're doing services or apps, like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you're considering being like an app partner, like look at the partners that are doing it right. Hapily, you guys are doing it right. Like you're creating a community, you're creating this energy around the HubSpot ecosystem, and you're solving for these issues that don't quite exist yet. And I think at the end of the day, as long as you're helping, you know, you're helping everybody in the community.
That's
like,
the whole point.
That's what it's all about.
And we can all work together. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of like competition. Right? You know what I mean? And like, there's all these beautiful moments where you can create these situations where it's like, you know, this app plus this app, while they don't directly integrate with each other, they both speak the universal language of HubSpot, right? And you can create these really great 1 + 1 = like 3 moments or whatever it is that Connor says, just because it's like, man, you know, I've got my app stack doing this thing for this kind of need that I have, and this thing for this kind of need that I have. And now that all that stuff is talking to HubSpot, there's this like new thing that I can do because of these other apps that are like injecting data or using it in one way or another or anything. So like, there's really great ways for like even just app partners to work together, right? But you know, I think the big thing, and you were kind of hitting on it, it's like it's still early. Like this is the ground floor. Like the HubSpot app ecosystem or the app marketplace is right now, it's like when the iPhone launched and the App Store just came out. Like in the grand scheme of things, this is still very much like the ground floor. And if you look at like these other bigger platforms, like your your Salesforces of the world, like this already happened over there. And then there's these big giant industries that have just built themselves off of building apps on Salesforce. But that whole revolution is literally just sparking right now.
We're right at
HubSpot.
The tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, dude.
Yamini mentioned it yesterday or today. We're only at 10% of the actual TAM.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. And that's great for solutions partners too. My prediction here is you're going to start to see anybody who's a, current HubSpot services folks. They're probably going to transition to working at partners like you within the next 2 to 3 years because they're really trying to kind of move that services thing to be more, partner led, so they can go, up market a little bit more, right? And it's a great time to be either type of partner right now.
Totally. I just want to call out and highlight what you mentioned. I don't know if Connor mentioned that, the 1 + 1 = 3. I think there's so much opportunity that as a service provider, there's other agencies out there that are technically our competitors, but I look at it as an opportunity to go and learn from other providers who've been here longer than me, or they've seen a different perspective, and we all win at the end of the day if we can share things and learn from each other. So
I mean, I think we were even talking a while ago, Event Hapily is actually an interesting opportunity for you to deliver a lot of strategic work behind how your event strategy works and all this kind of stuff. But then you mentioned to me, we don't do a lot of in-house CMS, right? That gives you a great reason to go collaborate with another agency that does a lot of that CMS work and get them on board and working together. Solutions partners can work together to play off their strengths and support one another, just in the way app partners can do it too.
So, Event Hapily in particular, you guys expanded what was possible and the services that we could provide. If it wasn't for Event Hapily, we would have a lot of projects right now that we would have just had to say we can't do it. But because you guys have this solution, we're able to say, no, we do have a solution for that. And we can add on to our services and stick with the client longer, retain them longer on our business end, and at the end of the day, they're providing more value.
And you don't have this, and in order to get there, you don't have this giant custom coded solution sitting in the way to get you to that place, right? You can say, here's an app that does it all, and then we go in and we add the magic in and actually make magic of whatever it is that the app injects out of the box, right? And you guys actually, because again, a lot of our apps is you install them, but the value doesn't come until you have someone with a good enough HubSpot brain behind it to make magic with it. And the 100%. Event management stuff is such a good example of that because everyone does that differently. You know what I mean? And then you can listen to your customer and wrap HubSpot around it, build the custom process for them. And you guys are the one that adds the value. It's not really the app. The app is really just enabling you to be able to do that. But, awesome, man. Well, dude, thank you for taking some time to chat with me, man. It's so good to be here with you and the guys in person. Thank you for joining me by my campfire. I think we're going to go ahead and roast some marshmallows and just, reminisce about the good times of Inbound's past and, make sure we get the most out of this one. But, dude, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your time, dude. Cool.